What's up, guys? It's your boy May Boom, and I am back for another video. And I've been thinking about it a lot since, these new enemies have coming around in Boruto. We got to talk about an old enemy of Boruto's, Cold. And I think now it might be the time to turn Cold into a good guy. Kabuto Yakushi, man. Now, you probably wonder, why am I bringing up Kabuto? So, if you've been here on the channel, you know I've compared Cold to Kabuto a lot. I feel like Cold is the new version of Kabuto. I do not like Kabuto. I hate Kabuto. And the reason I don't like Kabuto is he talks so much trash. He thought he was really that dude, but at the end of the day, he was not. I never took Kabuto seriously. He was a joke the whole war. And the war was partly messed up kind of because of Kabuto. How did Kabuto get a fight against Itachi? I never took him seriously when he fought Itachi. I was like, yo, Itachi is gonna kill him. Or Sasuke is gonna kill him. It is not, I don't take him seriously. You can't make a guy that was just super weak into like the strongest character. And I'm supposed to think, oh yeah, he's really that dude. It should have been Orochimaru that was the person in the war doing a reanimation jutsu, not Kabuto. And I think it reminds me of the same thing. Kabuto ended up, at the end of the day, turning good. Kabuto turned good, and I don't think it was no other way of doing it. Kabuto had to turn good, and they had to move past that arc, because it would have been terrible if Kabuto was the final threat in Boruto. So, yes, I think Cold is the same way. He looks up to Jigen, but he's not Jigen. Jigen was scary, even though he was a little bit, like, generic, like all the other villains, but that's not the point. He was scary, and the fights he was in, I actually took him seriously as a threat. And Cold was just super weak. I'm supposed to think, oh, now he is the chosen one. He's supposed to be able to beat up Naruto and Sasuke? Naruto and Sasuke? I don't take it seriously. Even though I know he's stronger than them, I still am not terrified of Cold. He looks like a joke. So, yes, they got to pull a Kabuto. Kabuto had to turn good, and Cold needs to turn good also. Okay, man, I was ready to talk about this. So, Cold after Jigen or Ishiki died. So, Jigen died, and I was thinking, like, okay, so how is this gonna go? Who is gonna become the next big threat? Because Jigen was a big threat. I actually kind of was scared of him. Like, he reminded me of Pain in some ways. He wasn't on Pain's level, but he still was scary. In the fight between Kawaki, Naruto, Sasuke, and Boruto was a fun fight. I thought, like, yo, it's no way Jigen dies. Jigen is going to be the final villain of the show. He's going to take Kawaki's body, and then we're going to see Boruto and Jigen pretending to be Kawaki fight each other. I thought that was the end goal of this. But Jigen dies, and then Jigen puts his spirit, he talks to Cold. He projects his spirit and tells Cold, like, you need to become the guy. You are the guy now. You need to take over what I've been doing, and you need to stop Kawaki, kill Kawaki, take over, and do the divine tree thing. And that's the end of it. I was like, Cold is the guy we're getting. He's the top villain now. I was like, okay, I guess. They didn't really do much with him. He used to just sit around in car and stuff. He did nothing. He was not really talked about. So Jigen just coming to him saying, okay, you're the villain now, was kind of like, okay. Then Cole, we get a few chapters with him. He gets his group, Damon and Ada. I don't like their characters because it just came out of nowhere. And they got like super overpowered abilities. So I didn't like that. Then Cole was talking about how he was going to beat Naruto, beat Boruto, beat Kawaki, and it was like, okay, he's going to attack the village and stuff. He's about to go do it. I'm like, okay, so how is this going to work out? Cold is saying he's going to do all this stuff, and I'm like, okay, you talking crazy, so let's see if you can live up to what you're trying to talk about. Are you going to be the next Jigen? Okay, y'all. So Cold, he ends up trying to attack the village and steal Kawaki away. We get a few scenes of Cold. He's marking his territory in the Henley village because he has this move where he could teleport to the Henley village. So basically, he needs Kawaki, and Kawaki and him meet in the forest outside the village, and they're talking about, like, Cold needs Kawaki. He needs Kawaki so he could bring the divine tree and take over the world and stuff. Cold thinks he could do what he wants. So you get a fight. Boruto jumps into this argument, and you get Boruto versus Cold. Cold versus Boruto. It was Cold won. Cold did win that fight. He won that fight, but then Boruto transforms. Then he just starts bullying Cold. He's bullying Cold. And remember, this is attack on the Henley Village. He's acting like he's about to just do crazy stuff like Jigen. But yeah, Boruto's bullying him. Then you get just everything start going all over the place. Then Kawaki, Naruto, and Shikamaru come and fight Cold also. But then Boruto starts tripping. He can't control Momoshiki. And then Kawaki transforms in his Jigen form, his Karma form, and both are just bullying Cold. Kawaki starts messing with Cold and stuff, and then Cold has to retreat and run away. And then he tries this again later on in the manga. He tries to go to the Henley Village, get Amato to unlock his limiters. He's trying to unlock his full potential. Then Cold gets his full form. He gets his full form in the Boruto manga, and then he gets destroyed by Damon for no reason. It was like, what was the point of that whole arc of Cold trying to get this full power form? He had a whole new change in look and stuff, and I was like, oh, so he's more powerful. It still was goofy, but it was like, okay, so he's powerful now. But then he just gets beat up by Damon 2 seconds later. It's just stupid. It was pointless, and yes, Boruto, he was a joke. He was a joke. He got beat up by Kawaki in his Karma form. He get beat up by Boruto. And then he ends up getting beat up by Damon. It's just like, you just keep getting beat up. Okay, y'all. Boruto, they made me think, okay, so one of the reasons I feel like Cole could turn into a good guy is because of his backstory. From what I remember, I feel like Cole was taken just like a lot of other kids uh from their families and stuff, like from with Ishiki Otsutsuki or Jigen taking him away from his family and stuff. I was like, oh, so Cole probably got taken away by Jigen and stuff and just don't know anything about his life. Like Jigen was basically manipulating him all his life. So I think that's something maybe they can bring up in the future, because I think is a lot more we need to learn about Cole. We don't know everything about him yet. So yes, maybe we'll get a backstory about Cold being taken away, like kind of like Kawaki was, or being sold away from his family by Jigen or Shiki Otsutsuki. I think that will make me feel more sympathetic towards Cole, because the bad guy stuff is not working out. I hope his backstory isn't just he looks up to Ishiki, wants to do what he does. It's like, that, you just copying him? You just want to be a copy of Jigen? I think that's just not as interesting as him growing up and then Jigen takes him away from his family and stuff. I think that's sadder, and I would like Code a little bit more. So I think personally that's the way they should go about it. It would make me more of a Cold fan. And I know we have so much more time in Two Blue Vortex, but that's what I want to talk about next. Cold. Since Kid Boruto's over now. In Kid Boruto, he gets beat up by Damon, Kwaki, and Boruto. So he runs away to his little hideout. And we see, like, okay, so what's he gonna do in Two Blue Vortex? The time skip is finally here. So what will Cole do to change in Two Blue Vortex? Will he become a better villain, or will he be worse than he was before? So let's go. Two Blue Vortex. Cold starts off Boruto Two Blue Vortex, the time skip, with attacking the village again. We get another village attack. I'm like, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Another village attack. So, in the chapter, Boruto, well, not Boruto, Sarada is looking over the village, and Cold attacks the village. He's ready to attack the village, and he's looking for Boruto. And then Boruto comes into the village, and this is probably one of the most embarrassing moments in all of Naruto. He stumps on Cold's face. He puts his feet on Cold's face as his entrance. He just stands on Cold, And it's like, yo, this dude is our threat. He's the villain. And then Cold's just beating up, Boruto is just beating up Cold, using new jutsus and stuff on Cold, showing him new jutsus. And it's like, okay, Cold's done. Cold is done. Boruto's bullying him. He's embarrassing him, making him look so weak. It's like, yo, is Cold meant to be this weak? Or I don't know, man. They did him dirty. They did him dirty, and then Boruto's using Cold to get to a different dimension to meet the actual new enemies of Boruto. It's like, yo, Cold, think. Are you actually don't go into this new dimension because Boruto's just trying to follow you. Then he puts a totem Cold and follows him to that new dimension, and he saves the Hidden Leaf Village. Boruto did a perfect job. He lost to a teenager, maybe Cold's a teenager, but he loses to a teenager that did this on his own and just swept him. It was embarrassing. It made Cold. I never want to see Cold again. And yeah, man, I think this what led to the decision to scrap Cold as the big threat of the show, and we moved on to new enemies. Okay, so in Boruto 2 Blue Vortex, we just got introduced to a whole new group of enemies. They're called the Senju or something. The Senju are Hashirama's group, but I forget what they're called. Like the ten-tailed creatures, they are the new enemies. There's four of them, and man, they're terrifying sometimes. Sometimes they're scary. Sometimes to me, they look like just Jigen copies, and Jigen was just a copy of Pain to me, so this all is just a copy of the Akatsuki and Pain, but they are scary though. They still have that same fear factor that like Jigen had at one point, Momoshiki kind of had also, but Cold did not have it. So I already prefer these threats over the cold era. The cold era was like depressing. It was like a whole year of we had to watch Cold just try to attack the Hidden Leaf Village over and over again. So in this last chapter, we seen these new enemies attack the Hidden Leaf Village, and they already did one thing I'm already impressed by. They beat up somebody powerful. When Jigen attacked the village, it was disappointing because Jigen, he just pulled up on some random shinobi, and that was it. And then Naruto and Sasuke just got him out of the village. That was it. And then Cold just gets beat up when he goes to the village. So when these new threats came to the village, they actually kicked Kawaki. They kicked Kawaki like to the other part of the village. They had him crash into a water tank. It felt like some Dragon Ball Z type fighting, and I liked it. I thought it was cool, and I feel like, whoa, these guys are powerful. They just beat up Kawaki, the second strongest character in Boruto at the moment. He could be the second strongest character. Maybe Damon and Boruto are more powerful, but he's up there. So it was pretty cool to see them do that, and it's just like, whoa, these villains are already better than Cold, and it's sad that Cold got replaced by these new enemies. Okay, so I just talked about these new enemies that we got, the ten-tailed creatures. Always forget their name, comment below. But the ten-tailed creatures, they are the new threats to Boruto, but that is not the only threat in Boruto. You also got Kawaki. Kawaki is also there. This Kawaki storyline has been cooking for a while now. I actually enjoy the whole Kawaki thing. Him and Boruto's beef is actually kind of fun. I don't like how they made Kawaki just kind of go crazy. Now he wants to protect Naruto so much that he wants to kill Boruto. I thought they could have brought Boruto and Kawaki's like confrontation. They could have done it a different way. I thought it was a better way to lead up to that fight that they need to have. But Kawaki is scary sometimes. He's pretty powerful, and I take him seriously. Like, his backstory's messed up. He was hanging around Jigen. Jigen's scary. And I see why he does want to protect Naruto so bad, because he never had somebody as cool as Naruto to hang around, and he just wants to protect Naruto to a point where now he just wants to kill Boruto and the Otsutsuki and stuff. He just wants to kill Momoshiki, and I find that way more interesting than Cold stuff. I feel like Kawaki is already better than Cold also, so you got the ten-tail villains and you got Kawaki. and they're all more interesting than Cold. So it's like, what is the point of Cold even being around? And Kawaki just messes up Cold's whole thing. I'm just like, when are we gonna get to Kawaki versus Boruto? I don't care about Cold. Just keep him out of the story. So yes, let's just move on to the next thing. Yo, Cole does not need to be killed off. There's no point to it. So, like I said, Kabuto and Code are basically the same to me. Two guys that just want to pretend that they really tough, but they're really not deep down. They cannot be characters like Sasuke, Naruto, and Itachi. It's just goofy to think that Kabuto was on the same. He's actually stronger than Itachi and Pain. To me, that's just kind of silly. So, characters like that, I'm like, there's no point of them getting killed off. There's no point of them getting killed off if nobody likes them in the first place. I still feel that way. That Neji in the war was the only person that could have died, because I don't care about half of the Hidden Leaf Village ninja. I don't care about Kiba or Shino. If Choji died, I wouldn't care. So Cole dying just would mean nothing. It wouldn't have no impact. And he just gets beat up out of people anyways. I wouldn't be surprised if he got killed, because everybody beats him up. Every single character beats him up. He looks so goofy when I see him in the show because everybody beats him up. So I think it's better to do something else with him. Give him a redemption arc, because there isn't no point of killing him off as a bad guy. There would be no impact. Give him a better storyline. At least a redemption arc. I could see some people enjoying it. I think I would enjoy it. I think I would enjoy it if it's done correctly. Because if the redemption arc is forced and goofy, no, he's still trash. And then you just write him off by that point. Just write him off the show and just keep him away. I just don't care. So yeah, just don't kill him off. There's no point to it. There's no point to it. I feel like that's the reason why they wrote him off. I feel like Cole's gonna be gone for a long time. It's kind of the same thing I have with Kosh and Koji. Nobody cared about it, so they just wrote him off for like a year, and we did not get to see Kosh and Koji. I think the same thing might happen to Cole, because nobody cares about Cole. So yes, just keep him around. Don't kill him off. That's pointless. Okay, y'all, if they build up to it correctly, we could see a cool moment between Boruto and Cold, and they team up with each other. I think if they did the Cold redemption storyline correctly, then you can have a cool team up moment between the two. We kind of got hinted to it a little bit when Cold and Boruto got into that dimension, and then they was face to face with the new Ten Tail enemies. It was kind of a, oh man, we might see Code and Boruto work together. That would be kind of cool. And I feel like Code and Boruto was telling Code, like, yo, you went too far. You shouldn't have let this happen. And now I got to take care of it, basically. So, yes, I think Code's going to realize that he needs to kill these things because they're too powerful. He didn't think about what would happen if he let these things loose, because Cole was the one that let these Ten Tails enemies out. He let them free, and now they're the big enemy. So yes, a Cole and Boruto team up will be cool. A lot of beef and a lot of history. So yeah, I think that would be pretty cool. Okay, even though I brought up the Kabuto comparison between him and Cole, there's another character that kind of reminds me of Cole. It's just like nobody cares about him, and they still gave him the final boss position at the end of the show. Where I'm talking about Black Zetsu. Black Zetsu ended up becoming the final boss. It's one of the goofiest decisions made in Naruto, and it's like, yo, we never seen this dude. He was always a goofy goofball, and he got beat up by everybody. He was like a villain that always got beat up, just like Cold. So it might happen. Maybe Cole might become the final villain and forced into that position. Even though he sucks, they might still make him that final bad guy. But I hope they don't go this route. I hope they just make him a good guy, change plans, don't keep him a bad guy, because it's not working. The fans don't like it. We've already moved on to the new enemies like Waki and the Ten Tails characters. So that's how I feel about it. Tell me how y'all feel about it, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Anime Boom, out, peace.